The Night Watch Files. Eastern Europe's murderers during the communist era. Dark secrets hidden behind the Iron Curtain. Crimes the world remained silent about for decades. Stories that still send chills down the spine. In this series, we will uncover the darkest serial killers born under communism, criminals the media of the time refused to acknowledge. We will trace their lives, motives, and deadly methods. And now, we begin. The Night Watch Files. In the shadow of the Cold War, in an enslaved Poland, a monster was born. Not forged in battle, not created by ideology. Born from poverty, loneliness, and a complete disregard for human life. Pawel Tuchlin. To some, just a factory worker. To others, the Scorpion, who terrorized the Pomeranian region. This is the story of one of the most dangerous criminals of communist Poland. Early life. Pawel Tuchlin was born in 1946 in Kochiewie, a harsh rural region in northern Poland. These were years of famine, poverty, and hopelessness. Poland, devastated by World War II, had become a satellite state of the Soviet Union. Daily life for ordinary people was marked by scarcity and fear. Tuchlin's family was among the poorest. His father was strict and often abusive. His mother, powerless to intervene, offered no refuge. Their home was a place of humiliation, not safety. From a young age, Pawel showed disturbing behavior, abusing animals, stealing small items from neighbors, withdrawing from his peers and instilling fear in them. School offered no escape. He struggled academically, refused to obey rules, and eventually abandoned education entirely, choosing instead a life on society's margins. In his teenage years, Tuchlin escalated to petty theft, first stealing apples from orchards, later targeting farming tools and machinery. For him, crime wasn't just survival, it was a way to assert power. The lack of family stability, the grinding poverty, and the brutality of his surroundings molded Pawel Tuchlin into someone who had no respect for life, neither his own nor anyone else's. Prison and fall. In 1967, Tuchlin was sentenced for stealing a car. The court handed him 2.5 years behind bars. But communist prisons were not places of rehabilitation. They were brutal schools of crime. Tuchlin didn't reform. Instead, he honed new skills, learning how to evade capture, how to break into places, how to manipulate others. Prison life confirmed what he already suspected. Strength, deception, and ruthlessness were the only things that mattered. Upon release, granted through an amnesty, Tuchlin returned to Gdansk. Physical labor, cheap workers' hotels, alcohol, and petty thefts became his daily routine. Living on society's fringe, he developed a dark obsession with human anatomy. In his notebooks, he sketched not only body diagrams, but also scenes of violence and domination. Slowly, a plan crystallized in his mind: to attack, to possess, to dominate. His fantasies grew darker and deadlier. Marriage and escalating violence. In 1973, Tuchlin married Danuta, a woman from his native region. Soon after, they had a daughter. On the surface, he was just an ordinary employee at PRK-12, the Railway Works Company. On the surface, a devoted husband and father. In reality, a man slipping deeper into madness. At home, violence ruled. Tuchlin accused his wife of infidelity, abused her mentally and physically. Evening walks became his private ritual. He wandered aimlessly, but always with one obsessive goal: observe, select, hunt. Neglected parks, abandoned tram stops, dimly lit railway crossings. These were his hunting grounds. It was there that his criminal impulses were born. First attacks. October 1975. Gdansk, Orunia, near the railway tracks. A cold, foggy night. Streetlights cast pale reflections on the wet asphalt. 21-year-old Danuta Chich was heading home after work. Her footsteps echoed through the silence. Tuchlin approached silently from behind. Without warning, he struck her in the head with a hammer. He dragged her unconscious body into the bushes, intending to assault her. As he began touching her, he heard footsteps approaching. Someone was coming. Panicked, Tuchlin abandoned his victim and fled into the darkness. Danuta survived but suffered severe skull injuries. She remained unable to speak for weeks, communicating only through written notes. The militia, lacking leads, focused on investigating the local drug community. Meanwhile, the real perpetrator remained at large. Tuchlin tasted impunity. It emboldened him. The Scorpion was just beginning. The Murder of Zofia, November 27th, 1975. 63-year-old Zofia P. was returning home from a name day celebration. After a heated argument with her husband, she set off alone into the misty streets of Gdansk. Tuchlin, hiding in the shadows, spotted her. Seeing her slow, weary walk, he moved in. Crossing the Motwawa River, he caught up to her. With brutal force, he punched her in the face. When she fell, he strangled her with his bare hands until she lost consciousness. Driven by rage, he cut her clothing with a knife, tearing away the last traces of her dignity. But when he realized the age of his victim, disgust overtook him. He abandoned her body in a roadside ditch. The militia, lacking forensic skill and hampered by censorship, wrongly suspected her husband. For weeks they investigated alcoholics and petty criminals, while the real murderer roamed free. Atmosphere of fear. Terror swept across the Pomeranian region. In small towns and villages, women avoided walking alone after dark. Trust evaporated. On the streets of Gdansk, few dared venture out at night, and those who did walked quickly, heads down, eyes wary. Families warned their daughters and sisters. Men began escorting their wives to and from work. The militia remained silent. Censorship forbade any mention of a serial killer. The newspapers continued to trumpet state achievements and industrial milestones. Meanwhile, women were vanishing in the shadows. No one knew that this was only the beginning. The Scorpion's reign of terror was just getting started. Closing. Pawel Tuchlin was only beginning. In the coming years, he would attack dozens of women. Few would survive an encounter with the Scorpion. In future episodes, we will unravel the story of escalating violence and the investigation that shook Communist Poland to its core. Night Watch Files. Silent Watchers. Hidden Truths. Sources. Based on Tropem Scorpiona, Episode 1, The Beginning, YouTube. Press Archives. Głos Wybrzeża, Police Investigation Files. Eyewitness and Law Enforcement Testimonies.